Good afternoon, guys, and welcome back. So I want to do this video real quick. I'm actually at the crib, but I'm getting ready to head to my practicum site. And this morning I received a few messages from Dr. Umar Johnson's father. He's not nothing out of the ordinary. Like, he sometimes sends me messages here and there about different things as it relates to politics. I also received a message yesterday from this guy who asked me about my perspective, my opinion on Dr. Umar Johnson and what is he doing with the FDMG money, right? So I want to kind of address both of those in this video. Hopefully I can be pretty brief because I have some things I need to do. But first of all, the messages that I received today from Dr. Umar Johnson, Dr. Umar Johnson's father, Jamal Johnson. I'm like, somebody need to take his phone. Somebody need to take his phone, y'all. I be trying to be very nice and very patient, but he's starting to irritate me in so many different ways. Okay, because it seems like he'll message me, right, with a meme or with his thoughts or opinions or whatever, right? And it's usually relating to something Dr. Umar Johnson said. And it seems like he's trying to get me to engage into a debate, you know, because obviously I have my perspective and my opinion and he has his. I get it, but it's just like he's trying to, like, instead of having a conversation, because I'm more of the kind of person who want to have a conversation. You know, I understand that we all are not going to agree on the same thing. Everybody has their own perspectives, and I respect other people's perspective. Let me just go ahead and get into it. So he messaged me today. He was like sending me this picture, like a meme of different statements. And it sounds like something that Dr. Umar Johnson has said. Like different statements that Dr. Umar Johnson has said or people in the conscious community have said. Like about the killings and the shootings in Chicago being attributed to white men posing as black people. So that was one of the statements, the whole thing about intergenerational trauma and how black people have this self-hate derived from slavery. What else? It was just a few other statements, right? And he made a comment about voting and kind of making a sarcastic statement to say, oh, you know, people saying that voting is not going to do anything, which Dr. Umar Johnson has said numerous times. And so Jamal Johnson was like, yeah, okay, you know, like in a sarcastic way, like, yeah, right, you know, like basically saying he disagrees with that statement to say that voting is not going to do anything. Mr. Jamal Johnson's perspective is that voting does do a lot. And so he messaged me this morning. He was like, what do you think about it? Like, do you agree? And then he asked me, he was like, was I wrong in my statements, right? And so instead of addressing or answering his question, I addressed his question, but I didn't necessarily answer it with a yes or no. What I said basically in so many words was that I think voting is necessary to elect people who are going to enact laws and policies that help govern society. But at the same time, voting means nothing if you're going to just elect persons and pass laws and policies that perpetuate this racially oppressive system that we live under. So I said that voting in and of itself is not sufficient. It requires certain stipulations that ensure that everybody is treated fairly and equally, because apparently that's not how things have been. I mean, we can elect a black president. That don't mean that things are going to change for the black community. And so I said that to Mr. Jamal Johnson in response, and he was like, you didn't answer my question. And I was like, okay, apparently you just missed what I said, because if you read my response, it answers your question. But I assumed that he was looking for more of like a yes or no, like confirmation. So I said, you're wanting me to confirm or validate your perspective. And I said, your perspective is your truth. So he goes to say, that's wrong with y'all. That's wrong with y'all. Like, that's the problem with y'all. Y'all don't own anything. And I was like, first of all, who is y'all? Because he had this tendency to say that, like, y'all. And even before we had got into this debate, where he was just like, oh, y'all women and y'all. I'm just like, wait a minute, you can't lump me with y'all. Be more specific, you know. And that's the thing, is like the way he communicates is like very triggering. Like he's trying to ignite an argument, and I'm not the kind of person that has time, number one, to argue with anybody. Like I will state my perspective, my opinion on something if you ask, and that's it. And you can express yours, and I'm like, okay. But if I disagree, I would say I disagree. And apparently it seems like he's just really opposed to his son's perspectives on voting. And I'm like, I definitely understand where Dr. Umar Johnson's coming from with respect to voting. I mean, I get it, you know, and it's basically what I said, you know, just a few minutes ago, that yes, it's important, it's necessary, but it's how people vote and it's the outcome of those votes, because voting in and of itself is just not sufficient. That's just, it is what it is, right? And so I guess he got upset because I didn't confirm his statements. He wants somebody to agree with him, and I'm like, I don't have to agree with you. We can you know, agree to disagree and move on. We have different perspectives, you know. But that was that. And so yesterday I got this message from this guy who sent me a message directly on my Facebook fan page, and he was like, so what do you think about Dr. Umar Johnson and donations that he's raised for the FDMG Academy? He was like, do you think he's on the up and up? Because, you know, I've been hearing some reports that some things aren't necessarily right with that, basically. And I didn't reply to him yesterday, but I sent him a message today saying I will address his questions and concerns in my next live video, which is now. And I'm like, y'all, first of all, I don't know why they come to me with questions about Dr. Umar Johnson. I never met Dr. Umar Johnson. Of course, I support him. I support the FDMG Academy that he is building. But sometimes it annoys me because it's like people in their suspicions and people... I gotta take a sip of water. People and their suspicions, people and their attacks against Dr. Umar Johnson. And I'm like, let the man be. He's trying to build this FDMG Academy. It's African Center School for at-risk African-American boys. What is the harm in that? I've made a video about this whole thing about him raising the funds and people being suspicious that the money was spent, you know, and not used properly towards the school because it's taken so long according to them. And he started the fundraiser back in 2014. It's 2018. So people are like, okay, it's been 4 years. Where's the school? And I'm just like, some people just still don't get it. I made a video already about this very topic, but people still somehow don't get it. Like, number one, it takes time to build a school, and he already expressed. It's not that he's keeping people in the dark. This man himself has made videos. It's like, I don't have to come and speak for him or say, you know, this on behalf of him. He's already made videos about this, stating what he's done with the money, saying that he has not spent the money. Now, he did make a post, I think, on Instagram saying that he was in the process of making the first withdrawal from the FDMG account to make a down payment towards the purchase of a school. I don't know the outcome of that necessarily, because I understand that with him and the way he's moving, he has to be careful because he has so many haters. He has stalkers, cyber bullies who actually have interfered with certain events that he's, you know, reserved and put on. Like, people have tried to get his events canceled, just doing very evil things, you know, against him. So I can understand why he's careful about the information that he wants to share, because people take that information and they use that against him. So I get that. And it's like, he's kind of in a situation where there's a catch-22. It's like, okay, people want him to be transparent, and I'm pretty sure he wants to be transparent, you know, because look at all the videos that he's made. Go to his Facebook page at Dr. Umar Ifatunde on Facebook. This man has made a lot of videos. Probably, I don't know, nearly maybe 1,000 videos. I don't know. But he's very transparent. That's just to say he's very open. He has nothing to hide, but he's also wise enough to know that, okay, let me be careful about what I share, because as he shares information, very pertinent and very sensitive information with regard to FDMG Academy, people take that information and use it against him. They'll go and call the real estate agent and say, oh, well, don't sell the school to Dr. Umar Johnson because da-da-da-da, just negative things. He's even revealed how he's ran into roadblocks along the way in trying to purchase properties, you know, for the FDMG Academy, saying his difficulty, how no one really want to sell him a school. Because once they find out who he is and his political views, they're like, And I'm like, people actually, some people, you know, believe him. But you have, you know, just a select handful of people who are like, that ain't true. That can't be true. And I was like, no, that's true. Hello. Like, people would like to, I guess, idealistically, people would like to believe that we live in a fair and just society and everything is just all great, right? We live in this utopia. Bullshit. The whole idea of meritocracy is bullshit, y'all. It's not fair and equal for everybody. And yes, there's discrimination. We know the racial discrimination that has existed in our history and even to the current day. Across the board in many different arenas, in housing, in schools, in health, in business. There's so much discrimination, you guys. Yes, you have people who own these properties do discriminate against certain groups of people, including African Americans. You can go and express interest in buying a property and they will not even respond to your call, your message. They will not even, they're like, no, they ain't even gonna entertain it. Because they may have a certain preference for who they want to occupy that space, who they want to sell that property to. And especially when people find out, like, oh, he is wanting to buy this property to build an African-centered school, and they see maybe some of his videos, and they may think that, oh, he's anti, you know, the status quo. He's anti-white supremacy. Then it makes perfect sense why he's struggling. Especially the people that he's trying to buy from are in favor of the dominant structure. How can y'all not understand that? Now, I think it would make sense that maybe he seek out black-owned. But how many black-owned properties are there for sale? School properties, that is, for sale. So it's like, y'all have to understand this. And to answer the guy's question about whether or not I think that Dr. Umar Johnson's on the up and up, you know, like in so many words, he's trying to ask me, do I think that he stole the money or misappropriated the money? I'm like, no, I actually don't think that he did anything with the money, you know, except for what it was designed for, what he said that it was going to be used for, which is to build the FDMG Academy. I believe that he's very passionate about his goal to launch his school. So what reason does he have to take people's money, y'all? This man make money he has different revenue streams. So the donations that he's raised towards FDMG Academy, that's for that particular purpose. He don't need to use that to live off of. Like, he has other revenue streams. He does lectures. He has tremendous amount of support from people online. Why do y'all think he need to steal your money? But I get it, because people are looking through a certain lens based on their own bad experience. So we have a bad experience with trust, African Americans. So it makes sense why African Americans are less trusting, not just of white people, but of people in general. We don't trust people, especially with our money. It's like, hold on, wait a minute. We've been done wrong so many times. I get it. But he is making an effort to increase the level of transparency that he has with the black community, especially with regard to this school. And one of the things that he's doing is actually he's launching his website. He had a website, something went wrong where I guess he had to shut it down, or it got shut down, but he's relaunching his website, and there's going to be information on his website, you know, so you guys can go check that out. I think it's drumarjohnson.com, if I believe. Go to his page. You guys can learn all this information on his Instagram page. Go to his Instagram page at, I think it's Dr. Umar Johnson. On Facebook, it's Dr. Umar Ifatunde. Just go check those pages out on social media, and you guys can See what is happening. Don't listen to the haters. Don't listen to the trolls and the cyber bullies and people making up all these false narratives about what's happening, because they have their own agenda. You will see that the people who are attacking Dr. Umar Johnson and making these false claims about him, they have their own agenda. They don't want to see this FDMG Academy get built. And a lot of times they're trying to use his name so that they can have a profit. They can build their own platform off of his name. How sick is that? Like, you attacking this man, but yet you trying to use his name to get views on your channel. You trying to use his name so that you can launch your own radio show or something like that. It's like, dude, what the hell? Why do people do that? You hating on this man. That's just sick, man. So yeah, that's my take on it. I don't think that he's doing anything wrong, with the money. He has no ill intent, as people are trying to put it out there, But you understand that the role that these people play is like, you're trying to create this narrative about Dr. Umar Johnson and shape people's perspectives on this man. And then, yes, it's going to have an impact. And I believe, yes, it has impacted the progress of the school. But I think all things work together. All things, happen for a reason. So even with the attacks and with this slow progress, because of these attacks that he's endured, he's had to go before the State Board of Psychology in Pennsylvania to defend his license, to defend his certification that he has as a school psychologist. That obviously kind of slowed him down a little bit, and it's just, it's terrible. But I encourage people who believe in the vision that he's set out, that he's put out there, to continue to support Dr. Umar Johnson. Don't get sidetracked by the haters, the naysayers, the people who are suspicious. It's just like, stop it. If anything, let's continue to support him and send different leads. If you guys have a lead for a property that's in America, then send it to him. That's going to help move this thing along. Send it to him, because he has not given up on this vision to build the FDMG Academy. It's just a matter of finding a place, purchasing a place. Now, also, I wanted to say this. With purchasing a place, I understand why he's kind of hesitant, because that's a big move. That's like buying a home, bigger than actually buying a home, to purchase a commercial space. Like, once you buy it, the deal is done. You don't want to buy something and it's the wrong place, it's the wrong location, it doesn't pan out how you want it to be. That would be the most devastating thing that can happen. And as I talk about that, it kind of reminds me of the vision that my former pastor in Jacksonville, Florida, Bishop Rudolph McKissick Jr. of Bethel Baptist Institutional Church. The church, actually, because he had this vision that he said God gave him, and he was raising money for the vision and everything, and they actually purchased this hotel. Now, the idea was for them to renovate the hotel and turn it into like a conference center. But do you know, after the purchase, that hotel just sat there and it collected dust? And I don't know what's going on with it now, because it's been years since I visited Jacksonville, Florida, since 2015, and it's been a while since I've actually been in that area of where that conference center is, where the hotel is. Even the church. It's been a while, so I don't know the most recent updates, but I know when I last seen it, it was just sitting there. They wasn't doing anything with it. Why? Because it takes money to renovate. So while they were able to afford the building, which was a hotel, they didn't have the money and I guess the support from the congregation to renovate it and turn it into a conference center, which they plan to host events, and I guess all kinds of things, gatherings and stuff there. They didn't have the money to do that. Now, I don't know. That makes me think and make me curious to want to go see, okay, what happened with that conference center at Bethel Baptist Institutional Church. But I know when I last seen it, it was like weeds growing up. It was just nothing. It was just like an abandoned place. Now, I remember, I think they had a name, and it seemed like they had started to make renovations. It was like the name, the sign, you know, Bethel Baptist Institutional Church that was put out there. But as far as like real renovations, it was just sitting and sitting. I think it had been sitting for like a couple years. So that can be devastating. And I remember the pastor, he would talk about that in during the church service, to say that God gave him this vision. And his quote was, ministry that is extensive is expensive. To try to encourage people to, you know, donate, to help support the renovation of this vision that God given him. He's like, God gave me the vision, but where are y'all to support this vision? And it's helpful that you have some members, obviously, that he was able to get to support the vision. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to purchase that hotel. But on the same token, some people ain't enough. You need everybody at the church. And that church got like thousands of members. You need everybody in the church to support. And to support continuously. Not to just make one donation, but ongoing donations. Contributing to the fund to help renovate this building. And not just for renovation, but for the upkeep of it, for the maintenance of it, for the operation of the conference center. The vision that God had given him. But it just fell to pieces, and, you know, like, people choose to spend their money on whatever, you know. It's just sad, because that just speaks to overall as a community, as a society, a black society in America. Like, we definitely got to do better with supporting our own. I mean, I know y'all tired of hearing this, how people keep saying how much money we spend on Jordans, on Louis Vuitton, on weave, on all kinds of stuff, cars. Like, not to say that stuff obviously isn't meaningful to you guys, because it is. You wouldn't buy it if it wasn't. But I think we need to prioritize, you know, what's most important. And when it comes to investing in institutions that's going to bring about systemic change for the black community, we need to consider that. Really deeply consider that. So I can go on and on about this, but I do have to close this video out and get ready to head to my prac site. But I just want to say that, man. Like, y'all, stop with the hate. Just stop it, you know? I understand people might be concerned and people may want to know what's going on, but I think it's a very sensitive moment in time right now with respect to the development of the FDMG Academy. And just because you may not receive immediate answers right away doesn't mean somebody is being mischievous. I'm like, what happened to loyalty? What happened to, if you believe in somebody, you believe in them wholeheartedly. It don't matter. But no, people are like, no, I just believe in and support somebody for 6 months or a year or 4 years. And after that, you know, I have to let go. Just like that. Black people ain't loyal. But then when you look at their loyalty to white supremacy, to this white dominant structure, they're very loyal to that, despite what's happened to us historically and what's continuing to happen to us by white supremacists. They don't care. People, you got black people that will vouch for white people to the end, man. Till the end. They will put their own life on the line if they mean to. They will put their own family, anything on the line if it means supporting white people. And there's nothing wrong with supporting white people, but come on, if you're doing it at the expense of your own people, what does that say? But hey, I gotta go. Thank you guys for watching. Feel free to leave your comments below. I know y'all have y'all comments and y'all opinions, and sometimes I'm even hesitant to even make videos about, you know, Dr. Umar Johnson, because it seems like I don't want to stir up any, you know, bad energy. I'm all about positive energy, but I think some questions do need to be addressed, and that was a question that came to my inbox yesterday. So I'm like, okay, I'll go ahead and address that question, and then Mr. Jamal Johnson, something else. It's like, I don't mind talking to him, but this whole back and forth, and I don't know. I understand he's in retirement, but I'm like, he need a friend or somebody that occupy his time and give him something to do that he don't have to engage in these arguments. I don't know, like, what is it? Because I'm not going to argue with it. I ain't got time to argue and go back and forth. I will state what I believe and leave it at that. But, alright, I'm going to end on that note, and I will catch you guys in the next vlog. Alright, have a great day. Bye.